Hello and welcome to the Skating Lesson Breaks Down the Team USA World Selection Camp. I'm Dave Lees. And back is Justin Powers. Yes.
Hi.
So Justin, today was the big day. Team USA announced the team for the World Championships. It was a little interesting because yesterday we got to watch the athletes compete on all four events in this new era of transparency. And then today the athletes were asked to do two events by the committee, and we don't know what the events were, how anyone did, and we've seen no videos of them. So what's your thoughts on that, first of all? It was a strange day.
It's strange. It's a good attempt at transparency. I wish I could see what was happening on day two because that would be really interesting. But I won't complain because there's been so many years in the past we've not gotten anything from camp. So the fact that we have scores and videos from one day, at least, I'm like super happy about.
What would you have liked to see today? You know, if you were Tom, what events? I mean, yesterday bars was obviously a mess, so maybe a do-over of that event would be helpful in picking the team. What would you have liked to have seen?
And a do-over of floor. Floor needed a do-over real fast because there was a lot of falls on the first day, and so I would have liked to see Morgan on floor, Grace on floor, Leanne on floor. Even Jade had a few mistakes, and so I would have liked to see a lot of floor teams if I could see them again.
Well, before the event started, we learned that Riley McCusker has, I can't even pronounce this, rhabdomyolysis. Basically, she has a problem where her muscle fibers are breaking down, they release into her bloodstream, and it can cause kidney failure, which is bad news for...
That's so scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with her or her coaching situation because, you know, there was the stuff about Maggie and the safe sport, and I don't know what's going on with her. I just really hope she's able to rest and recover because there was a pretty obvious gap missing on the team that she could have filled in if she was healthy. And so if that's carrying over into Tokyo, I just really hope she's able to rest and build a new game for next year.
Yeah, I think my concern with Riley is that since the American Cup in 2017 when she bombed, it seems like there's a lot of instability, a lot of ups and downs, rather than just a nice progression of a career. It seems like she's had to fight mental blocks, fight injuries, and it seems like she's being pushed really hard to maximize her ability. I don't know if she's... I mean, in some respects, she's very talented. She never had, like, a double back flyaway off of bars, which is, like, a little bit unusual, but everyone has their things. But she's obviously one of the most talented on bars, and they certainly could have used her. I just question back that we discussed in the last episode why Tom was having everyone do all-around at Classics, Pan Ams, all the training for Pan Ams, and then to go again all around 2 days at Nationals. Then they wouldn't have much of a break before to ramp up for the World Selection Camp and then to go into the hard training before the World Championships. And then to see that he just goes through the top six of the team, you wonder, where is the strategy? What is Tom's role? Why isn't he picking his battles and saying, Riley, you do two events at Nationals? It seems like he gives the coaches the options, but they don't really have that trust in him or the fact that he will take them because he's going based off of all-around results. So...
yeah. It's so... the group underneath Simone, and I guess Suni, because she's kind of a step ahead now too, but that group is so close together. I guess all the coaches and the athletes think that they have to do all four events every single time to try to outrank each other. And the strategies, I don't know, the strategies haven't really worked out that well because you saw Morgan try to take it slow. I know we're going to talk about her more later, but that didn't work out. Riley tried to power through everything. That didn't seem to work out. So it's a very interesting conundrum that those bubble gymnasts are in.
Have you noticed that none of the gymnasts have actually been consistent throughout the summer? It seems like under Marta there was a certain level of consistency because their lives depended on it. And if there was like a Gabby Douglas who didn't have consistency. It was a big drama, a big story. But now, anyone who's gone from classics to Pan Ams to nationals to the selection camp, they've had a lot. Morgan Hurd has had up and down meets all year, but Grace McCallum has had ups and downs. Riley has had tons of ups and downs. Cara Eaker had a very good performance at Pan Ams, a rough nationals, a good performance here. No one has had that kind of momentum building where they do a couple of events or, what each person needs. And I'm kind of wondering where Tom's leadership and strategy was, but he also didn't get his own athletes perhaps to the top. Yeah. And is this where that is kind of lacking?
Yeah. First, I want to apologize for my cats because they're running around like crazy. Two, do you know who had the best strategy and who it actually paid off for this year? It was MyKayla Skinner. Yeah. She was the one who went in and didn't really do all 4 events at the beginning and kind of worked her way up, and it paid off for her. So I don't know. A lot of the other gymnasts probably should have done kind of what Skinner did, but they were kind of missing out. So
I think she has a lot of confidence in herself. That from going through elite, not making the Olympics on the team, doing so well in college, hitting all the time. Her numbers were outrageous in college in terms of consistency. I think she believes in herself that she can do these skills and that she can do it. And a lot of people didn't think that she could do it this year, but she did show up at the right time and did enough every single point to get it. Yes. So
yeah. I didn't think she was going to do it either. I had wrote her off completely. I was not expecting her, but she has that consistency under Marta to really go out there and hit every single routine and the pressure in elite, and you can kind of trust her for that. And so even though she's not doing the prettiest routines or, I don't know, the most technically well executed routines, you can at least count on her to go out there and hit a routine, and you can't really count on that from a lot of other.
Yeah, I do find her entertaining. I find that her whole persona is refreshing, at least on the team, that someone is so brazen to come back with her swagger the way that she has, and she is polarizing to people, but I think it has made the summer certainly more interesting. Do you have her on your team with Jade? Because of the 6 that were mentioned, there will only be 5 that compete. Are you going with the 2, with Jade and MyKayla? You're not.
I'm not. I'm not, because I still think they fill the same role. Now, in my view of the world's team, it seems like Grace McCallum is going to be on the team and MyKayla Skinner is going to be alternate, in my opinion. However, if we get to podium training and Jay not hitting or Grace isn't hitting and MyKayla's still hitting, I mean, I see the door open for her. She has to kind of rely on somebody making mistakes, though.
Why do you have Grace on the team? Do you have her as a backup for bars and beam, or do you have her? Yeah, because I don't really see her being in the lineups at any event. When I looked at it, I thought he was maybe going for kind of like a Marta Athens strategy where she loaded up on vault and really hoped to get an advantage there. I was wondering if they were going to kind of load up on vault, go with Simone, Skinner, and Jade, which could be risky depending on, you never know how Skinner's Cheng is going to be judged internationally. It seems like the sky will fall at one moment, or the bottom will fall out there, whatever metaphor you want to use. But because they do have a real problem on bars, so what
they do.
Are you taking Grace for bars? Because she does not tend to score that well, although she scored decently at classics. But yeah, Grace, not the best bar worker. Skinner, not a great bar worker. Jade, not a great bar worker. What does your team look like for this?
Yeah. So I would have Grace on it. See, this is where Riley would have fit in perfectly. If Riley was just healthy, she would have been that 3rd bar score. Everything would have been good. We'd have been set. The USA needs a gymnast to do bars and beam complementary to Jade. And I don't see why you would want MyKayla in that spot. Grace's bar potential is higher than MyKayla's bar potential.
Mm-hmm.
And Grace could almost be team final, like leadoff worthy if she can beat Cara. So that's kind of my interpretation of the team and why I would put Grace on the team instead of MyKayla. However, it would be insane if the USA came out and did three chungs and just did chung vault 1, chung vault 2, chung vault 3. All USA has the hardest vaults in the world. That'd be really impressive, but then you would get to bars and you would be kind of a messy moment.
Do you expect to see Simone upgrade her vault for the World? She did last year. We don't know if she has plans. It looked like she was playing it safe, a triple-double, but playing it safe on beam, on vault here. It seems, it didn't seem like she was taking every risk here. I wonder what we saw in training, what her plans are. It doesn't seem like she's been grilled too hard about the vault situation for this year, but...
Yeah, I am not going to expect it from her. Not. I think she's going to do just the chung. But I think she's going to do that and play it safe and be good. I'm not expecting that crazy vault to come back for a couple of reasons. But that's kind of where I am with her.
Do you think she's kind of like had a funeral for it in her mind because she fell on it at Worlds? I mean, she was having the kidney stone, and it did look fantastic other times that she did it and in training in the first day. So, I mean, I would like to see Simone just come out, do the vault, and really put the team ahead and put herself ahead and shock everyone and definitely lock up another vault title. But I don't... I'm wondering if he is thinking about this team purely from 6-3-3, knowing that this team will get to team finals, likely win preliminaries, maybe not by a huge margin, but you go in and then you have Simone do bars, Sunisa Lee do bars, and I guess Cara do bars. I still question why he picked Grace based on the numbers. I think Grace is a great gymnast. I think she's like an ideal non-traveling alternate for this year based on the fact that Skinner made it. If Skinner didn't make the team, it would be a really easy, like, traditional, put the numbers, you put the best vaulters in. The fact that we have so many specialists that did better because Morgan Hurd had a terrible meet. And why... Would you have forgiven Morgan? I would have made an argument to put her in the top 6 for the bar routine, but I think she's been mismanaged all summer. What has been going on with her?
So I had faith in Morgan. I still have faith in Morgan. I still think she's going to go to Tokyo and kill it. But I had faith in Morgan and Slava at the beginning of the season to progress the way that she needs to in order to be hitting at like this camp and at Worlds. And she just did not look mentally prepared yesterday because all of her mistakes were like weird mistakes. So she did the rolling of her ankle going into elite, and then she missed her foot on a toe on bars. And so those aren't like, oh, she overcooked her release or anything. Those are kind of interesting mental errors that I don't know would be like fixed by Worlds. And so as much as I love Morgan and as much as I think she's phenomenal and I still think she's going to go to Tokyo, after what happened at the selection camp, I would have agreed to leave her out.
I have a feeling that last year she felt like a solid number 2 gymnast on the team behind Simone. I wonder how much the fact that she got off to a rough start and then Sunisa Lee has kind of come in and how much like then she's wondering about her place on the team if her confidence has been shattered. Also, she did have surgery at some point, right? The injury with the elbow and things like that. And
she keeps having elbow issues.
Yeah, but the interesting thing to me is that the front tumbling pass on floor, only doing the front full, was strange. I thought that was weird yesterday. We saw stuff earlier in the summer. The floor routine has kept shifting. It shouldn't seem like floor should be the event that she's having the most problems on, but I was wondering if the fact that she had a second error on bars, obviously it hurt her score, but did that hurt Tom's faith in her? Because if you look at Tom doing his job, she hasn't had outstanding bar scores. Like we saw Riley go 14-9 at Pan Am's, 14-5-5 at Classics when she was at her best. Obviously Nationals, she did not do well on bars. But You look at Morgan. She had a 14.25 at Pan Am's, a 14.4 day one of National, a 14.6 day two. She did have a 12.55 yesterday, but if you erase that, and if she was doing well in training, I don't know why you wouldn't at least take her through to the podium training and say, she's a known entity, she can put up a score, leave Grace home unless someone gets injured during the training, and then replace them. I almost feel like Grace is like a good 7/8 gymnast. Like he's, but I think if he's only going for the top 6 scores now, I don't know if he has the balls. If someone got hurt, would he just put the alternate in and not take a non-traveling alternate? Because I think you could pull a Marta, and how in 2003 that she kind of picked Chelsea over Taryn Humphrey. I think you could leapfrog either Morgan or Leanne if someone got hurt or someone wasn't performing well. But I just don't know if he has the temerity to kind of do that.
I don't think he would. I don't know how I feel. Like I said, I really like Morgan, and I would have done anything and everything to get her on the world team if I could. There was too many errors yesterday. If she would have just made one bar error, that was it. Even with the watered down floor tumbling, all of that, I think should have been fine. But it seemed like she made a mistake on floor that was uncharacteristic, and that was the beginning of her meet, and I think it just carried throughout the whole meet. And Grace would be like JC Phelps, kind of like there and can do everything athlete. That wasn't shade, I promise. I really like JC Phelps, but so I could see her like that, but I don't know. I see the worst Grace's vault and built-in ability to cover the other events.
Grace does have a good vault. We've seen her training the Aminar. She didn't do it, but she did have a really good Yurchenko double full yesterday. So that could be something
gorgeous.
That if they do make Skinner the alternate, like you're saying, that they could have Grace potentially vault or Suni Lee vault. So that's obviously an option. I don't know why Cara Eaker gets away with her tucked Yurchenko 1.5. So much. It's 2019. What are we doing? Shannon Miller had a better 1.5 at times. Like, this is really getting a little bit...
And not saying something.
Yes. It's a little bit ridiculous. It seems like... I mean, she's very, very good on beam. But if we're taking people for one event, I also wonder... Yeah, just why wasn't Riley managed better? On what planet was Riley ever going to do floor? I think this is where Tom has to realistically have strategy with people and be like, Riley, I need you to have a hot bar routine. It needs to be even better than a 14.9. It needs to be... I just don't think...
I think that's what's missing.
In his leadership.
He's afraid, I guess. Or I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But it doesn't seem like either he's giving enough, like, leadership or like guidance to the gymnasts or athletes. I don't know if it's that or the gymnasts and athletes aren't listening or I don't know what's going on. But that would have been really good at the beginning of the year, looking at the athletes that could potentially make the world's team and say, Riley, you are great on bars and beam. We already have athletes that are good on vault and floor. What you need to do is keep up the bars and beam. And she could have done like the Madison Koshin thing where she could have downgraded her floor team, downgraded her vault, done some easy, simple stuff to show that she's ready and she can fill in if needed, but just really kill it on the 2 events that she needs. And I'm sad for her.
Yeah, it feels like there isn't like the moment of honesty going on with some of these gymnasts. And I wonder if Tom is almost playing too many head games with himself where he sees all of the criticism. He reads all the backlash by former people who wish that they went by scores. And because, before when they ever picked teams, there was always criticism from former athletes. Well, we always went by scores or blah, blah, blah. But in this situation, it's a different era. It's a different time. And I wonder if he's so focused on trying to be the nice, fair person who gives everyone an equal shot that he's not really doing his role to prepare the best team. Because in that sense, anyone could have his role. Anyone could go by the numbers. You don't need his. Yes, right? Like, and yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, like anyone could do it, Tom. You're supposed to be like working on the trends, working on the strategy. Who's going to the American Cup? Obviously, Simone is paced well, but what about the rest of the group? Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough because they've all had such messy summers and had such ups and downs. Besides Simone and Suni Lee, who got her mess out early in the summer, she then has been on a roll. It's a rough one. So you are not taking Morgan Hurd. Why is Trinity Thomas doing this at this point? She has not really nailed the necessary upgrades. I know it's a feel-good story that a collegiate gymnast is doing it, but why isn't she picking college or elite? Because it feels like if she does have elite talent and elite potential, she's not training enough. She's never had the hard enough vault. Her bar routine isn't spectacular enough to make it. Like, it seems strange to me that she's there. And then why are we flying in Aaliyah Finnegan to do one event if she was injured? Like, what? Is it just the cachet that she was at the camp? I mean, this is... USAG doesn't have tons of funds anymore. We don't have tons of sponsors to just be flying these people around. Yeah.
Well, with Aaliyah, they said anybody who made the Pan Am team automatically basically got invited and can go. I think that's how Aaliyah ended up there. I don't know what's going on with her. I never heard. I don't know if she was injured or I didn't.
Didn't she have concussion syndromes? I think she had concussion symptoms after Pan Am.
Yes, that's why she didn't vault in the finals.
Yes.
So maybe it's a carryover of that. I know her father passed away recently too. I don't know what's going on with her. I think that she probably... I read something on, and this made a lot of sense to me. Somebody said that this is probably the only world's trial or Olympic trials that Aaliyah will make. And so she probably wanted to go and do it no matter what. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on with her life, but I could see how she'd be like, well, I'm already invited. I might as well go do one event and just have fun, enjoy the opportunity. And I think that's kind of what Trinity is doing too. She has always seemed like someone who does the sport for fun more than like achievement. She did like the diving in high school, where I think the diving was just for fun and just for something for her to do. I think Trinity is probably doing elite for the same way, just as something fun to do, to say that she can do it. I really don't think Trinity is aiming for worlds or was aiming for worlds. I don't think Trinity is aiming for Tokyo either. I don't know. I think she just wants to do it just to do it and have fun.
I mean, it's a lot of work to just be doing this to have
fun.
It is. It's unusual to think about selection camp as fun. That's not how we've heard about camp in the past or any of that. Yeah. No, and obviously Aaliyah's father passing away, it just seems like a lot. And I do think that she could make the Olympic trials, actually. I mean, maybe that's a thing.
You think?
Amelia Hunley made it, right? So I feel like Aaliyah Finnegan could come in there in that kind of spot, right? Like, she made the Pan Ams. Yeah. She could be on the lower end. She's got like a double-double on floor. She's improved enough over the last year.
You're right. It could happen. It totally could. But I don't know what was going on with her head. Aaliyah and Trinity weren't the ones that I was most, I guess, confused. There was one more gymnast, and I don't want to say because I don't want to be mean, but there was one more gymnast who competed at the meet, and I was like, I think you're great, but I don't know why you're here.
Well, okay, all right, I'll not. Okay, so Tom did bump.
I'm sorry.
Tom did jump over Faith from Legacy Elite. And I thought that was interesting. Not that I thought that she should have been taken as an alternate. She did, because he did go by the numbers, except he didn't take her. Now, she hasn't had the most consistent summer either. So it just, like, seems interesting. Like,
there's a reason for that. There's a reason for Faith not getting chosen. And she doesn't have an FIG license.
Oh. Why doesn't she have one?
Because she turned elite so late this year. Because she was been like a level 10 for like years and years and
Wait,
years.
but then why is she at the camp?
I don't know. She's good. And she obviously is
Wait.
a very solid all-around.
Shouldn't, like, having an FIG license be the number one thing when they don't have a lot of funds to be bringing someone to the camp? Like, what are we doing here? What?
That's part of the transparency, I'm sure, because Faith has done pretty well. Mm-hmm. And she beat Morgan and Lee yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so she's obviously done well in beating kind of the favorites. So maybe they felt like they couldn't leave her off the team. However, yes, I heard that she doesn't have or she might have like tried to get an FIG license, but it was too late. And so she basically wasn't going to be able to go to Worlds no matter what.
But it is very convenient that the two gyms that are currently under investigation by Safe Sport that we know of, Legacy Elite and MG Elite, both don't have gymnasts on the team this year. Not that I think that was planned, it just has happened, and it just seems like, I mean, some of these other gyms...
It's a very interesting thing. Do you think Tom took a crowbar pulled a Tanya Harding on?
I don't think so. I do think he was like, when they picked the team, he was like, oh, that was a nice turn of events. Like, that we didn't have to go.
Yeah, it worked out well for him, yeah.
Because I do feel like, even though Scott Reed is doing really good work, when we read the stuff about Maggie, not that I don't think that she's ever yelled at someone, but is she worse than the other coaches? I don't know. There are some coaches that are on that national team where I would question. You know, if we're singling some out and not others, I think that's interesting. Because there are others that have had complaints in the past, but don't seem to be currently being investigated that we know of. But
yeah,
it did seem like Scott Reed did put the headline about Riley being injured or having this overtraining issue, and then the subhead was about Maggie being under investigation. And I was like, he did connect those dots quickly. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, he did.
I do think that Tom...
I don't know who... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm the same as you.
Yeah. I do think, though, that I wonder what this means for Riley's Olympic chances. Like, I don't know much about this condition and how much time off you would need, or can you get back up to speed quickly. And obviously when you miss time, and there's another good bar worker in her gym, and there are other good bar workers obviously developing around the country. So I certainly think that it's an advantage for Olivia Greaves and for anyone being coached by Kelly Hill to pull out something for like Kayla DiCello. So I think that would be an interesting kind of spot. Do you still think that Team USA, are you confident in them winning Worlds?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not by like 7 points. Maybe by like 4 points instead. But I am pretty confident that they will win. I don't see a scenario unless everyone melts down. I don't really see how they wouldn't win.
I do think it is kind of sad that the sport has gotten to such a point with the difficulty and the injuries and the lack of depth that you kind of can tune in once a year and kind of see who the last people standing are, because no one lasts throughout the season. It's a little disappointing, I think, in that way. I do think it's a little... The U.S. is not as quite as dominant as before without Simone. But obviously Suni Lee has really helped things this summer by coming on as strong as she did. Would you put her on floor in the... Does her double-double scare you? What? I mean, the double-double yesterday was like a headbanger almost.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a little... it was scary. But I'm such a fan of Suni Lee. I think she's absolutely phenomenal. I was so impressed that she was 3.5 tenths behind Simone yesterday. And Suni botched one of her series on beam too. And I think if she would have done her series, that series is 4 tenths, I think, of bonus.
Correct.
And that would have put her above Simone.
Yeah.
And I think it's phenomenal that there's a gymnast right now that is one fall away from beating Simone.
Would you pull out Simone's bar dismount given the amount of struggles that she's had on it this year and just maybe put in the beam double-double and not go for the double-double off bars?
I would keep it. I would keep it. Just because I think yesterday's mistake was kind of weird because she kicked the low bar going into the dismount. And so she shot that dismount way out. I don't know what happened in her head. And I think that was just like a silly mistake. And I'm hoping it's good for Worlds because I think at Worlds last year she hit it every single time. And so I'm hoping it'll be the same this year.
It was just not so great at Nationals this year. Her bar routine. Yeah. Yeah, but I look, I would give her to podium, give her to prelims to get that under control, and then she can decide what she wants to do. Do you think she'll do the double-double off beam at Worlds, or will she save that for, like, beam finals? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The fact that there's someone that's one fall behind her may push her a little bit more this year.
I can see her doing the double-double in beam finals. I think if she hits beam in prelims, she'll make finals pretty easily. And I can see her throwing it there versus throwing it in the all-around. Because if she has a competition like she did at Worlds last year where she fell on vault and she fell on beam, I can see Suni beating her. Like, I really can. And so, like you said, I think someone that close behind her might make her want to stay a little bit cleaner and not feel as free to throw their skills. But, I mean, in event finals, I mean, she already has, like, 100 beam medals, so she might as well throw it then and see what happens.
Now, how many medals are you seeing for this team at Worlds? Like, what is your early projections for kind of medals that you're seeing?
I see, obviously, team winning gold. I see Simone winning gold all around, and I see Suni getting silver all around if she hits. For vault, I see winning. I see Jade up there. I'm not going to say Jade is guaranteed a silver because I've seen some people say that. I'm not going to say that yet because you still have Yale Seo-jong. I'm probably butchered that name, but she's a South Korean gymnast who has the front handspring front double full. She could get silver. So, I mean, Jade might get bronze. I don't know. We'll see. On bars, I really want to see Suni win. I think Suni could win bars.
I think she'll medal on bars for sure.
Be fantastic. Medal for sure. It's going to be between her and Nina Durwell, I think. But Suni is just a little bit cleaner than Nina, and I think it could be enough to overtake Nina for the bar title. On beam, I see one of the American gymnasts medaling. I think there's so much just that could go on beam. The Chinese are so strong on beam this year. I can see two of the Chinese gymnasts medaling on beam. And then I can see Kara being the third person on the podium if she hits. And then on floor, Simone will win. And I don't know if anybody at medal on floor this year. I think it might just be Simone.
I could see that. I think I agree with those overall. I could also see, Kara has had difficulty on beam in finals in the past, but yeah, I think I could also see. I mean, I could see her. I could see two Americans on the podium on beam. I could see one. I could see a situation with none. So you
could, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it'll be exciting. It'll be a more exciting Worlds than last year, where the only drama was whether or not Simone was going to hold it together with the kidney stone. So I think that there could be actually a little bit more competition, which will make it more exciting. So yeah, well, we want to know
I'm really excited for this Worlds.
What does everyone else think about the makeup of the team? Is Skinner your alternate, or is Grace McCallum your alternate? If someone is injured, should he leapfrog Leanne or Morgan Hurd? What does Leanne need to do for next year to make the Olympics, other than an Aminar? All right, and we'll see you back for the World Championships. All right, thanks so much, Justin. Bye, guys.